We're going to go back in the book to page 30. So I want you to turn in your student books to page 30. You're going to reread the 6 traits of effective writing. Look up when you have finished reading the 6 traits. In the last unit, we focused on sentence fluency. Our focus was on writing complete sentences. Using what we have learned in masterpiece sentences, we now have the ability to vary our sentence use because we have tools to expand our sentences. However, we will not focus on that in this unit because we will not be writing incomplete sentences. Because we are writing poetry, our focus for this unit will be word choice. We will try to find our own way of saying things, not just saying things exactly as we read them. We will also focus on our descriptive language through the use of adjectives, adverbs, and prepositional phrases. Now I want you to turn in your student books to page 70. We're going to read the instructions for Part A and the prompt. Read the prompt. Identify the directions and the purpose for writing. Imagine you are in charge of the world and rewrite the poem "If I Were in Charge of the World" to reflect the changes you would make. So your directions are to rewrite the poem "If I Were in Charge of the World," and your purpose for writing is to express my idea, in other words, your idea, but you're going to write it as my idea, of a perfect world. So I go ahead and fill that in. And now we're going to look at Part B. Listen as I read the poem, and then we'll tackle rewriting the poem one stanza at a time. If I were in charge of the world, I'd cancel oatmeal, Monday mornings, allergy shots, and also Sarah Steinberg. If I were in charge of the world, there'd be brighter nightlights, healthier hamsters, and basketball baskets 48 inches lower. If I were in charge of the world, you wouldn't have lonely, you wouldn't have clean, you wouldn't have bedtimes, or don't punch your sister. You wouldn't even have sisters. If I were in charge of the world, a chocolate sundae with whipped cream and nuts would be a vegetable. All 007 movies would be G, and a person who sometimes forgot to brush and sometimes forgot to flush would still be allowed to be in charge of the world. The first stanza focuses on things he'd like to cancel. What are some things you would like to cancel? Some things that I don't like are boring afternoons, cavities, and mean people. Think of some ideas and then write down at least 4 things you'd like to cancel on Part B. I'm going to give you a few minutes to think on that and record them. The second stanza is not about canceling things, but improving things. What are some things you like and would like to improve? I love a full moon, well-behaved dogs, and clean cars. Think about some things that you would like to improve and then write down at least 3 of them. I'm going to again give you a couple of minutes to jot down your ideas. The third stanza focuses again on things he wouldn't have in his world. I wouldn't have jealousy, commercials on TV, final exams, or chores? What are some things you wouldn't have if you had that kind of power? Think about it for a few minutes and then jot down at least 5 things. I'm going to give you a few minutes to complete this part of the activity. The final stanza ends on a positive note with wishful thinking. Wouldn't it be nice if you could eat your favorite dessert and you'd be eating your vegetables? I'd love permission to eat more key lime pie, and I'd love it if all politicians told the truth, and then that it would be okay if I accidentally fell sometimes without people laughing at me or yelled. Notice in a few places the poet incorporated rhyme. Write down 4 things you would like to see. Try to make at least 2 of them rhyme. I'm going to give you a few minutes to jot down your ideas for the 4th and final stanza. You've done the hard part by generating ideas for your poem. Take a few minutes now and write your poem. Remember to follow the poem's format. Posted in Google Classroom today is a Google Doc that you're going to use to type out your poem. I'm going to give you some time to complete this activity. Now that you've completed your poem, I'm going to have you read it out loud in class. I want to hear how it sounds, and I want you to hear how it sounds as part of the rhythm. Now let's look back at page 67 in your student books. I want you to review your answers and make any necessary changes. Then we're going to share out our answers. And now to finish up the lesson and the unit, I want you to go back to page 57 in your student books. Let's look at our big idea questions one last time. Are we in control of our lives? Why or why not? To what degree do the choices we make as teens affect our futures? Explain. So, what did you believe in the beginning about this, and how did your attitude about these questions change? Did they change? Teens often live in the now. Thinking about the future is an ability that develops with maturity. But do the choices we make as teens affect our future in big ways? What about things we post on social media, classes we decide not to work too hard at, and choices we make about friends? Can these choices really affect us 20 or 30 years from now? As teens, we often feel like other people make decisions and rules that affect us, and we have very little say in our lives. Is this true? What about religious beliefs? How much free will do we have? Are there aspects of our lives that are out of control? What do you think? What we read should make us think. Use our discussion and your thoughts about the text to determine what you will walk away with. Has it made you think about a personal experience or someone you know? Has your perspective or opinion on a specific topic changed? Do you have any lingering thoughts or questions? Write these ideas as your enduring understandings. What will you take with you from this text? Go ahead and jot down those enduring understandings.